Hello everyone! So for today's material, we will talk about Bloom's Revised Taxonomy, NCTM, and PISA. So let's get into it. But first of all, let me introduce the member of Group 3. There is Zahra Khusnul with ID number 007, and then there is me, Lelita Shiva Elfitria with ID number 116, and then Nadhifa Salma Putri with ID number 131, and then last is Dillila Widdatina Viqtorinnada with ID number 132. So here's the first material we will talk about, which is Bloom's Revised Taxonomy. Here's the explanation. So first, does anybody know about Bloom's Revised Taxonomy is? So if you haven't known, please hear the explanation. So taxonomy of cognitive objective in 1950s developed by Benjamin Bloom, and then in 1990s Lauren Anderson, which is the former student of Bloom, revisited the taxonomy. So the names of six major categories were changed from noun to verb forms. So why is that? And the reason is as the taxonomy reflects different forms of thinking, and thinking is an active process, so that's why verbs were more accurate. Okay, next is six new terms that define. First is the remembering with the code C1, which is retrieving, recognizing, and recalling relevant knowledge from long-term memory, such as find out, learn terms, and then facts, methods, procedures, and then concepts. The second one is understanding with the code C2, which is constructing meaning from oral, written, and graphic messages through interpreting and then exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining understand uses and implication of terms, which is facts, methods, procedures, and then concepts. And then the third is applying with the code C3, which is carrying out or using a procedure through executing or implementing, make use of, apply, practice, theory, solve problems, use information in new situations. Okay, and then the fourth is analyzing with the code C4. There is breaking material into constituent parts, determining how the parts relate to one another, and to an overall structure or purpose through differentiating, organizing, and attributing. Take concept apart, break them down, analyze structure, recognize trump assumption, and for logic, evaluate relevancy. And then five is evaluating with the code C5, which is making judgment based on criteria and standards through checking and practicing such standards, judge uses standards, evidence, rubrics, and accept or reject on basis of criteria. And then last is creating with the code C6, which is putting elements together to form a coherent or functional whole, reorganizing elements into a new pattern or structure through generating, planning, or producing, put things together, bring together various parts, write team, present speech, plan, experiment, put information together in a new and creative way. Okay, finally we will talk about writing a question in mathematics based on Bloom's revised taxonomy. Let's get into it. Okay, here's the first is creating. Creating is putting together ideas or elements to develop an original idea or engage in creative thinking. Creative thinking. Learning activities is generating new ideas, products, or way of viewing things. So how could we determine the number of pennies in a core without counting them? Or like apply and integrate several different strategies to solve a mathematical problem, or like design a new monetary system or experiment or for establishing. And then the second is evaluating. Evaluating is judging the value of ideas, material, and methods by developing and applying standards and criteria. So evaluating is judging the value of a product for a given purpose using definite criteria, such as develop a proof and justify each step, or using a definition, determine, or like justifying a decision or course of action, checking, hypothesizing, critique, experimenting, and judging. Okay, next is analyzing. Analyzing is breaking information. into its component elements to explore relationship. So analyzing is like breaking information into parts to explore understanding and relationship, such as given a math word problems, determine the strategies that would be necessary to solve it, or like write a paragraph describing the relationship, or like how does or compare to. So it's like something like that. And then next is applying. So applying is using strategies, concept, principle, and theories in new situation. So applying like using information in concrete situation, such as compute the area of actual circles, or use the given graph tool, or like choose and describe the base method too. Okay, next is we have understanding, which is understanding of given information. So it's like grabbing the meaning of the material. So the question usually such as given the mathematical formula for the area of a circle, or paraphrase it using your own words, or like select the graph that illustrates. And then the next is remembering, which is recall or recognizing of specific information. And then remembering is previously learned by the material, such as state the formula for the area of a circle, or state the rule of, and then explain and use the procedure for it. Okay, now we will be given the question example. So let's get into it. Okay, here's the example. We have fraction question and 3D shape question with Bloom's revised taxonomy. First, we have remembering with the code C1. Let's compare the two kind of questions. For the fraction question, we have list the fraction you know and can show. And for 3D shape question is list the attributes of your shape. And then for the understanding with the code C2, the fraction question is find items that you can use to show the fraction. And for 2D shape question is find items that you can use to show the shape. And for applying with the code C3 with the fraction question, we have draw a diagram which show this fraction or take photographs of the fraction. And then we have 3D shape question with draw a diagram or take a photograph of the shape. And then next we have analyzing with the code C4. For fraction question is design a survey to find out which fraction are easy and which are hard and graph the result. And for 3D shape question is identifying where the shape is found in the classroom and school. And the next is the evaluating with the code C4. The fraction question is choose a diagram or picture to represent the hardest question to use in a game. Meanwhile, for the 3D shape question is tell why your shape is used in the picture in the places it is. And then last is creating with the code C4 C6. The fraction question is create a PowerPoint presentation game for others to play. Meanwhile, for the 3D shape question, creating with the code C6 is create an item that includes all or parts of your shape, draw and label your design.
Next is National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, or NCTM. So what is NCTM? NCTM, or National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, is the world's largest mathematics education, founded in 1920, and NCTM advocates for the teacher to teach mathematics and the students to learn with high quality of mathematics. Next is the principle for school mathematics. First is equity. Excellence in mathematics education requires equity, high expectation, and strong support for all students. Second is curriculum. A curriculum is more than a collection of activities. It must be coherent, focused on important mathematics, and well articulated across the grades. Third is teaching. Effective mathematics teaching requires understanding what students know and need to learn, and then challenging and supporting them to learn it well. Fourth is learning. Students must learn mathematics with understanding activity, building new knowledge from experience and prior knowledge. Fifth is assessment. Assessment should support the learning of important mathematics and furnish useful information to both teachers and students. Sixth is technology. Technology is essential in teaching and learning mathematics. It influences the mathematics that is taught and enhances students' learning. So the 5 content standards is first, number and operations. Second is algebra. Third is geometry. Fourth is measurement. And fifth or last is data analysis and probability. 5 types of abilities for students to have. First is problem solving. So in order to implement problem solving, we need to first build new mathematical knowledge through problem solving. Second, solve problems that arise in mathematics and in other contexts. Third, apply and adapt a variety of appropriate strategies to solve problems. Fourth is monitor and reflect on the process of mathematical problem solving. And then second is reasoning and proof. In order to implement reasoning and proof, we need to first recognize reasoning and proof as fundamental aspects of mathematics. Second, make and investigate mathematical conjectures. Third, develop and evaluate mathematical arguments and proofs. Fourth, select and use various types of reasoning and methods of proof. The third abilities is communication. In order to implement communication, we need to first organize and consolidate their mathematical thinking through communication. Second is communicate their mathematical thinking coherently and clearly to peers, teachers, and others. Third, analyze and evaluate the mathematical thinking and strategies of others. Fourth or last is use the language of mathematics to express mathematical ideas precisely. And then the fourth ability is connection. In order to implement connection, we need to first recognize and use connections among mathematical ideas. Second is understand how mathematical ideas interconnect and build on one another to produce a coherent whole. And last or third is recognize and apply mathematics in context outside of mathematics. And the last abilities or the fifth abilities is representation. In order to implement representation, we need to first create and use representations to organize, record, and communicate mathematical ideas. Second is select, apply, and translate among mathematical representations to solve problems. And third or last is use representations to model and interpret physical, social, and mathematical phenomena.
Then we have example question for connection. Question 1. Maximum value of fx is log 2 times 5 plus x plus log 2 times 3 minus x. Question 2. Look at the following picture. It's known that AB describes a multi-story building. CD represents the height of a multi-story house, and the line BC and AD describe the roofs. If AB is 10 meters and CD is 6 meters and AC is 8 meters, what is the height AH? Okay, now we are going to talking about PISA program for international student assessment. The ability level in PISA questions consists of 6 levels. In this case, the level shows the level of complexity of the questions. The higher level of the ability in PISA, the more completed the problem. The highest level of ability is level 6 and the lowest level is level 1. The following is a description of each level of the questions. Okay, we can see that there are level 6, level 5, level 4, level 3, and level 2, and level 1. For level 6, at this level, students can conceptualize and generalize using information based on modeling and analysis in complex situations. Students can link different sources of information flexibility and translate them. For level 5, at level 5, students can work with models for complex situations, identify constraints, and make assumptions. They can select, compare, and evaluate strategies for solving complex problems associated with models. For level 4, at this level, students can work effectively with models in concrete but complex situations. They can select and integrate different representations and relate them to real situations. At level 3, students can carry out procedures well, including procedures that require sequential decisions. They can use and apply simple problem-solving strategies. In level 2, students at this level can interpretation and recognize situations in contexts that require direct inference. Students can sort out relevant information from a single source and use a single representational way. And the last is level 1. Students at this level can answer questions that are very familiar in context, and all relevant information is available in clear questions. Students can identify information and create routine procedure according to explicit instruction. Students can take action according to the given stimulus.
Okay, now I will give you some examples of each levels. The first is level 6. A glass manufacturer produces glasses of the same shape and size. However, it turns out that there is one glass made of material A mixed with 999 glasses made of material B. The glass with material A has a lighter weight than the glass made of material B. The manufacturer only has one scale that is able to weigh the most 700 glasses with an accuracy of up to milligrams. Determine the minimum number of weightings carried out to obtain one glass made of material A. Secondly, level 5. Cube nets can be made by cutting the edge of the cube with a certain cutting direction in such a way that the lying shape can be rebuilt into a cube. The arrows in the cube image below indicate the direction of cutting on the edge of the cube. Draw the nets of the cubes according to the directions of the cuts. 3. Level 4. A pizza shop provides two pizzas of different sizes but have the same taste and thickness. The small pizza has a diameter of 30 centimeters and is sold for 30,000 rupiahs. And the big one is 40 centimeters in diameter and sold at 4,000 rupiahs. Which pizza sale is more profitable for the seller? The next is level 3. The small road called Gotemba that goes to the top of Mount Fuji has a length of about 9 kilometers. A climber must return by 20 o'clock from an 18 kilometers climb. Hiker Toshi estimates that he can climb the mountain at an average speed of 1.5 km per hour and twice as fast when descending. The speed includes meals and breaks. Using Toshi's estimate speed, at what time should he start the ascent at the latest so that he can return at 20 o'clock? Next, level 2.
A giant Ferris wheel spins on the river bank. Look at the following pictures and diagrams. The wheel of the mill rotates at a constant speed. The wheel rotates one complete revolution in 40 minutes. Johnny rides the pinwheel at point B. Where will Johnny be after half an hour? The last is level 1. In June 2014, the new album by the bands Maroon 5 and Taylor Swift was released. In July, the new album from One Direction and Magic also released. Here is the chart of CD sales of their albums from June to November 2014. In what month did One Direction CD sales outperform Taylor Swift CD sales for the first time? Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching. I hope this video can help you understand about Bloom's Revised Taxonomy, NCTM, and PISA. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.